colors in the homo rainbow, and each one of them is beautiful. And regardless what people think about you, at the end of the day, you are still you. You are still human, and you still have a heart. And it's kind of a big heart, considering the fact y'all put up with a lot of shit. Not just the things y'all go through during your everyday life, but in the midst of the general public when people try to tell you that, okay, you're a guy and you're trying to make out with another guy, that's wrong. You're going to hell. That's not and that's wrong. And they can't really say that. But at any rate, I am TJ, and this is the infamous Rainbow Spectrum episode that I've been trying to get up there for the last week or so. But I couldn't really find a good starting point to start this episode. Since I'm going to be shining the spotlight on the people in the LGBTQ community. I mean, on the outside, it on the outside, they're just like you and me. I mean, there is nothing wrong with a person who is gay because he's human and he still bleeds red. There's nothing wrong with a lesbian because they bleed red, they're still human. There's nothing wrong with a bisexual, transgender, or queer because they bleed red and they're human. So if a guy decides to be in a relationship with a guy, if a woman decides to be in a relationship with another woman, if a bisexual, transgender, or queer person decides to be in a relationship with either a male, female, transgender, bisexual, or another queer person, let them. I mean, you really have no say whatsoever in a relationship anyway. The only two people that actually has the final say in a relationship is the two people that's in a relationship. And me personally, the sooner everyone who tries to interfere in a relationship just to ruin it, the better. I'm gonna give you a prime example. There there are two lesbians that I know, and both of them decided to be decided to be together. Of course, I'm gonna like their post and wish them the best of luck in their relationship. Dude comes out of nowhere and basically tries to put one of my lesbian friends on blast because according to him, she'll fall in love one day and be single the next. Okay, first off, you're sitting there saying he's sitting there saying that she's gonna do this, and he didn't even know her from the get go for him to even assume that. He even further said that she was going to commit suicide. Why he said that, I do not know. But not only did it piss me off, it pissed another gentleman off. So between the two of us, we basically said, "Shut the fuck up." And of course, the gentleman in question that started the shit in the first place was blocked, and rightfully so. Because for one, people, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgender, and queer people already have it bad as it is in the eye of the general public and trying to find a place to fit in. And the mainstream normal society, or so they, or that's what they call it. Why do lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgender, and queer people have it so hard? I do not know. I mean, sure, let sure transgender and queer people may be born a little different than the rest of us, but who the hell cares? I sure as hell don't. And for the average person to tell these people that a a guy making out with a guy and a female making out with a female, or even a transgender person existing, is a sin and it's wrong. Okay, here's my question to you: Who are you to judge? Who are you to judge a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer person in the first place? I may not be a hardcore full time Christian, but I know enough to say that, for one, you're no judge. Two, even if you were a judge, you wouldn't stay a judge for long. Consider the fact all of your judgment would be based solely on your beliefs and your beliefs alone. And instead of trying to look at things only through your eyes on what you can actually see in front of you, look through heaven's eyes for once. I mean, you'll see the world in a better light and better perspective than what your 2D dimensional mind will comprehend, if you can even comprehend that. Now, I know what you're thinking. I mean, man, I'm saying all this stuff, and I know some of you are wondering, do I personally have do I pers do I personally have issues with any of these people? Hell no. In fact, I personally have a few. I'm to be honest, forgot how many I forgot how many people I have on my friends list that are on the LGBTQ side of the spectrum. And be honest with you, I can care less how many of them I have on my friends list. I know I have at least one. I may not be able to. I may not be able to remember their names right off the top of that, but I do know that every single person that is on the LGBTQ side of the spectrum that is on my friends list, I have respect for as a person. For the simple fact that, for one, they're human. Two, they respect me as a person. Three, they're just good people to talk to. I mean, the sooner people learn that lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgender, and queer people are not all bad people, the better off the world place this will be. I mean, seriously. It's rather sad that there are some teens out there who reside on the LGBT side of the spectrum that are bullied so much to a point where they go and commit suicide over the fact that they themselves don't like how they look or who they are. And that's wrong. To the people who often bully people that are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer, you're wrong for doing so. I mean, what if you had a child and they were picking on them for the same thing that you're picking on other people about? I mean, what are you gonna do then? Me being the father, I can care less what my daughter, who my daughter's into. She can have a boyfriend, she can have a girlfriend for all I care. I'm still, I'm still a father first and foremost. Regardless who she decides to be with, I'm gonna be there for her, regardless, 200%. Instead of trying to tear down people on the LGBTQ side of the spectrum, everybody needs to be at least have the decency to respect them as a person. Because at the end of the day, when they go home to their respective houses, they are still a person. They are still breathing. There was a former classmate that I knew all too well. When Facebook decided to do the Celebrate Pride profile pic version, I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I got friends on the other side of the spectrum, so why not? I'm gonna change my profile pic to help support them, you know. So he sees my profile pic and he asked me why did I have a rainbow over my profile pic, and I told him, you know, to support my peeps on the LGBTQ side of the spectrum. He sits there and tells me that if I didn't change it back, that he was gonna unfriend me. Then went into the spiel about how being on the LGBTQ side of the spectrum is a sin against God, and that they were and the people who support it was going to hell. So instead of sitting there arguing with him, or because it'd be pointless to do so, I just said, "Bye, Felicia," because I'm not gonna put up, nor am I gonna stand people who will sit there and try to tell me that being a lesbian, being gay, being a transgender, or a queer person is a sin. Since he wanted to, since he tried to bring up religion in my face, here's another nutshell for you. And and I could be wrong about this, But you know, shaming other people just because who they are and who they choose to be is a sin within itself. So before you try and say that a lesbian, gay person, bisexual, transgender, or a queer person is a sin against God, maybe you want to ask yourself, am I sinning by talking trash about the next man and woman over there? Because you sure as hell ain't following the golden rule on that one. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna take a break and get another cup of coffee. We'll be right back. To all of my friends who reside on the LGBTQ side of the spectrum, let me say this to you all. There is nothing wrong with who you decide to be with. There's nothing wrong with your sexuality and whatnot. If you yourself feel comfortable in your sexuality, then that's who you choose to be. Can't no one really tell you who you can be with or not except for you. I mean, if people are gonna be if people are gonna be your friend and stand by you and support you, more power to that. But if not, I'd say lose. I mean, because a real friend don't judge their friends on physical appearances and whatnot. So it's not every day that I'll make an episode like this for my friends on that side of the spectrum. And to me, this episode is practically well overdue, and it needed to be done. And hopefully, this episode gave you some insight on people that reside on the LGBTQ side of the spectrum. I'm pretty sure that there are several links on Facebook that you can go to that will put you in the right direction as far as trying to get more knowledge or become more knowledgeable of the LGBTQ side of the spectrum. Of course, you can like When Chaser Productions on Facebook, follow When Chaser Productions on Twitter, which I need to update that by the way, and subscribe to When Chaser Productions YouTube channel. With that being said, I am TJ Dudley signing off. Peace.
Many colors in the homo rainbow. Don't be afraid to let your color shine. Many colors in the homo rainbow. Show me yours, I'm gonna show you mine.